Hello and welcome to the Abundantly Favored podcast, where faith meets mindset, gratitude fuels growth, and your words shape your world. We're your hosts, Jenny and Shelley, two sisters, wives, moms, and lifelong encouragers who believe God has richly equipped you to live an abundant life.
Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, faith, purpose, and the power of speaking life. Whether you're in the car, on a walk, or curled up with coffee, consider this your weekly dose of encouragement.
Abundantly favored, walking in grace, carried by mercy, held in His place. Abundantly favored, chosen and free, overflowing with love for all to see.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Abundantly Favored podcast. We are so happy you are joining us today, aren't we, Jen?
Yes, so glad to have you guys here with us again.
Yes, we are going to start with a Bible verse, and this probably is one of my absolute favorite Bible. I know I say that every week, but this is really, truly one of my favorite Bible verses. It's from Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 8. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things.
Love it.
I love that one.
Yes.
And it fits perfectly into what we are going to be talking about today. So if you remember, if you're following us on Abundantly Favored on Facebook, on Instagram, we gave a little challenge to everyone to focus on finding red vehicles. We said your mind kind of looks for whatever you tell it to look for. And it was kind of amazing the results of how many red vehicles people saw once they focused on that.
Yes,
Jenny, how many did you find?
Yeah, it was so fun because I was driving to an appointment like 20 miles away from where I live to get to the appointment. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. I saw 151 red vehicles.
What?
Yes, I know. And it's not like I live in a major city, but there was traffic. I was on Highway 63, had a lot of traffic, and then in town itself. But it was so cool because, and I'm glad we said vehicles and not just cars, because I saw semis, I saw dump trucks, I saw a cement mixer. I'm like, oh my gosh. that
Oh,
counts.
man.
So it was
Yes.
fun. It was really fun. But I've experienced this other times in life as well. And I want you to share some examples too, Shelley. But like for me, I've noticed like when we were building our house, whatever phase we were in, like if I had to pick out siding and I kind of knew the siding color I wanted, it popped everywhere. Windows, same thing. Like what style windows do I want? Windows were popping out in driving through neighborhoods. And it was so cool to see just because I was focusing on that. So that's what I was seeing. Right.
Right. It's crazy how our brain works. And we're going to talk about how this really isn't about cars at all, or windows or siding or anything like that. And actually, I'll just go back. I have the tiniest commute in the world. I think I literally live like 2 blocks away from the school that I teach at. But in the time that I drove there, and I did not count cars in the parking lot. The drive there and then the drive home, I saw like 13, I think it was. So I thought that's pretty good for a little, like it literally takes me about 3 minutes to drive to my school and to come home. So that was pretty good.
You didn't count in the parking lot?
No, I forgot.
I counted in parking
Once I
lot.
got there, I was like focused on I got to get to school because I tend to run a titch behind.
Hey,
so.
you were telling me too before we started recording about your vehicle, your personal
Oh my
vehicle.
gosh. Yes. Okay. So, one thing that's kind of cool, Jenny and I, you may or may not know this, we partner with a health and wellness company. And actually one of the perks at the lowest level is you can earn a Jeep stipend. And so Jenny and I both have that, and it's amazing. And I went to the dealership. I was debating between 2 Jeeps. I ended up going with a Jeep Wrangler, and I kept thinking, I think I've seen this Jeep, like maybe one in town. I feel like I've seen. Well, I did see one in town, and it happened to be the mailman drove this exact same Jeep. But then I started to see Jeeps everywhere. Like, do you know how many Jeeps are in my tiny little town and how many different colors there are? And I literally was not necessarily a Jeep person before, but now it's super fun to just see everybody who has a Jeep out there.
Yeah,
So, and
that's
this
so
is our little
interesting.
signal we peace
Yeah.
when we see each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so
Um,
interesting that, what you were focusing on, you saw everywhere. Weird.
everywhere. Weird how that works. And we're going to
Yeah.
talk about how, I said this isn't really about cars. It's really, I'm going to go to the brain science of this first. And no, Jenny and I are not like experts in brain science, but we do geek out on this kind of
Totally.
stuff because it is so fascinating. And there is a part of your brain, it's called the reticular activating system. We call it the RAS or RAS for short. And basically, what it does is it works as a filter system for your brain. Because if you can imagine, there are so many sights, senses, smells, sounds
Mm.
that we hear in a day. So, really, it is there to preserve our sanity so we don't hear and see and feel every single thing we come in contact with. But what's interesting about the RAS is it's kind of like a spotlight for your brain and it decides what to focus on. But guess who gets to decide what to focus on? We do. And
Yes.
so we've heard us say over and over, your brain believes whatever you tell it. Your brain will look for whatever you tell it. And so we want to just share with you some ways that this actually appears in your life and how you, just like Jenny with her sighting, me with my Jeep, how you can actually train your brain and your mind to look for the good and to look for the positive instead of too often we tend to look for the negative of because we just keep it's what you talk about. That's you're telling your
Mhm.
brain what to filter out and what to look for.
Mhm. I love that too, Shelley, because when you think about it, all of this we talk about the brain science and everything, and I love that it's biblically based because God's telling us the same thing in the Bible as well. But I love how He gives us the control, if you will, to
Mhm.
help our brain guide us to where we will be. And obviously, we want it to follow in line with what God is telling us, right? But you
Right.
think about it, and if you focus on stress, you are going to notice more problems that cause you more stress. Um,
Absolutely.
yes, if you focus on like maybe you're always the victim, you're going to look for ways that you are the victim in the situation, right? Lack, you're going to notice
Mhm.
what's missing. Fear, it really is you look at worst case scenarios. But if you flip it and you focus on gratitude, you're going to see things to be grateful for everywhere. It is so fun.
Right.
Growth, that growth mindset, you're just going to see growth everywhere. Same thing with opportunities and God's goodness, right? And it's so fun when once you are kind of in charge of what you're thinking about in your brain, you can guide it to see what you want. You all probably know people that are going through just a terrible circumstance, and of course we're praying for them. But when they have the best outlook, like a few weeks back we talked about Frankie, my friend Frankie, who had a chronic illness. She was completely homebound, but her focus was on choosing joy. And it's like what you focus on, you really can bring about.
Absolutely. And so eventually, what we notice becomes what we speak, or what we speak becomes what we notice. You can flip it either
Mm.
way.
Mhm.
And your repeated thoughts just become your expectations and they become your internal narratives, what you say over and over. For example, in the negative side of things, like how many times I'm guilty of this, that we say, or we used to say, nothing ever works out for me, or I'm always behind, I'm so overwhelmed, or I can't ever get it together. This is just like me. I'm so that's the other thing. I think because growing up, we talk about this in our book we wrote. I spilled so much milk as a kid. They say don't cry over spilled milk, but I'm not kidding you. I thought my dad was just going to lose it on us several times because I don't know. I was klutzy. That's what I would always tell myself. I was so clumsy, which probably back in my teenage awkward, I was probably, but
We all
I
were.
almost every meal I spilled a glass of milk. I was fast, going to reach for something. I'd spill it. And so that kind of stuck with me through a lot of life. And I would just be like, well, I'm so klutzy. So what did I do a lot? trip, drop things. Now, some people who are closest to me might be like, well, you still kind of do that. But you know what? But I don't focus on that. I
Yes.
don't focus on that.
Yes.
So, or I can never get it together. Or earlier, I should have caught myself. Did you notice what I said? Why I didn't count the cars in the parking lot? I said because I tend to always be late for school, which I
Oh,
need to fix that. I know I do.
yes. I did not catch
But
that.
oh, yeah.
Mm.
So I'm catching myself. I'm calling myself out. But I do just a little side note. I feel like I have a good reason for always being late because I have what's called I've self-diagnosed myself with one more thingitis. Like I want to get one more thing done before I leave for work. Oh, I'm going to throw that load of laundry in. Oh, I'm going to throw this roast in the crock pot, or oh, I'm going to, do XYZ. But yeah. I am
Okay, you
working
heard
on
it.
that.
You heard it here first. One more thing itis.
Yes. One more thing,
I
itis.
love
It's
it. I
it's a
love it.
condition, and it feels good at the moment because you're like, man, I'm getting a lot done before I go to work. But
Yeah.
I gotta
Okay, so
I gotta cut
you
it
kind
short.
of I was ready to call you out on like giving excuses for why you're late, but I kind of like that excuse. So one more thing itis.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we won't call
It's
that
a
an excuse then.
condition.
A
It's a condition that I
condition.
made up but maybe some of
I
you
love it.
suffer from it too.
Well, one thing that's really cool about what you just said about those examples is, really whatever you're telling your brain starts to collect evidence for that, right? And I
Exactly.
want my brain collecting evidence for good and positive and loving things, right? We teach in our book this weight method, WAIT. And, our book is called Wait. Did I say that? So that's kind of our theme. Oh, yeah, Shelley's pointing to it. For those
Yeah.
listening, she has it on her shelf behind her. So the weight method really is a natural fit for this. So the W stands for what am I thinking? What am I repeatedly noticing? And that's that awareness
Mhm.
piece, right? And that's the A. So am I aware? Have I even slowed down long enough to notice the pattern? Like that's a thing too. We're so busy, we're so into things, but that awareness, the noticing it. And then once you're aware, the I, is it true? Or is my brain filtering everything through that fear, stress, comparison, right? We don't want to
Mhm.
focus on fear, stress, and comparison. We want the good. So, is it true? More than likely, if it's something that we're doing this weight method with, it's not true. So, then the
Right.
T, have I taken this thought to God? So, taking it to God. So, what does God say about me? And more than likely, if you're focused on that fear, stress, and comparison, it's not what God is saying about you. So just applying
Exactly.
that weight method when you become aware of what
Mhm.
you're doing. So some real life examples for that Shelley and I were talking about is like, motherhood. When you have a brand new baby, right? Maybe you were someone who slept through the night and like nothing woke you up, but you have this baby and you hear everything. You hear every little like you're up.
Right.
What does the baby need? And like for us, I was the one that got up with the baby, so I wanted Chris to sleep so he would sleep. But I know there was a time when I was gone and I was worried. I'm like, how is he going to do this with the baby? So I asked him, like, so did you wake up the night? He's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, well, of course he did because he knew I wasn't there and that was his job. So his brain
Mhm.
was focusing on his job, what he was supposed to
Yes.
do with that, which
That's the reticular activating system. It's filtering
the
out what you
spotlight.
deem important. And
Yes,
yes. Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Jenny, I think too, people will say that with baby weight too. Like they'll say, oh, I gained all this weight after having a baby. And people will say, well, that's just part of it. And it's really hard to lose. But yeah, I've seen lots of women who pop out a baby and then they kind of have eaten healthy and had a healthy lifestyle throughout the pregnancy. And they seem to just shed that weight without doing something ridiculous like a, a movie star or something would
Yeah.
do.
Well,
And go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm cutting you off, Shelley. You guys will, if you're
No, you're
just,
fine.
this is the first podcast you're listening to. We are sisters and we will cut each other
Yes,
off. So here we go.
and it's all good.
So, yeah. Okay. So the whole baby weight thing, you're right, because I remember that. And I remember hearing for the first time someone saying, it doesn't have to be that way. And like a light bulb
Mhm.
went off in my head. It's like, oh my gosh, right. Why does
Right,
it have to be that way?
right.
So the person I heard that from obviously was focusing on the other thing, right? So
Mhm.
I love
Well,
that.
and I would say while I was pregnant, the doctors always say, well, you should gain X amount a week or whatever. And so for me, it was like, I think the doctor said I can eat whatever I want because I'm going to gain weight anyway. And give me
Uh-huh.
those, cookies and candy, and which,
I definitely ate
is
for
not what the
2.
doctor was saying. Yes.
I
And that's
ate for
another thing.
2.
We got to eat for two.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what they mean, but
Yeah.
another example of how your RAS really works was, Rich and we're always trying to be healthy. I would say 80 to 90% of the time, we allow ourselves
Love
to
it.
have things,
Mhm.
but there was a time when we were really both he and I were just being very strict about no sugar, no whatever, but we still had a little bit of, I can't remember what it was, like cookies or something, like maybe it was some Oreos in a thing, how they have that peel off
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And so we were in the living room, which is around the corner from our kitchen, and he went out there for something. We were watching TV, we had music going or something, but so I mean there was noise in there. But since I was so hyper focused on, okay, we're eating healthy, we're choosing healthy things, I literally heard this of the Oreos open, and I was like on hyper alert. And he comes back in, and he didn't have, like, usually he might be chewing and you can tell, no sign of it. And I said, did you just have an Oreo? And he looks at me, he goes, are you kidding me? He goes, I could be in the kitchen hollering your name. You can't hear me, but you heard the little of the wrapper. And I was like, yes, you did, didn't you? And he's like, yes, I did. And it was kind of this funny moment, but I was like, I just had a feeling he was going out there to eat a cookie, and I wanted a cookie too. So
Yes.
it's
Oh my
just one of
gosh,
those
that's
things
so
that you
funny.
were like, your brain was ready to filter out anything that would be deemed like, he's going off the diet. Maybe I
Yes.
want to
Oh my
too for a
gosh,
minute.
that's so funny. Okay, so
Yeah.
another real life example that I hear a lot is as people age, there's times when things happen to their bodies but you look at people, there's healthy people who are aging and then people that are always sick. And it's interesting because when you talk to the different groups of people, if you will, the healthy people tend to be talking about health and they're going on the walks and they're watching what they're eating and they're bringing about the health in their body for the most part, right? The people that seem to be more sickly, that's what, they're it's the doctor appointments. They're always sick. They're always needing something. Granted, I don't want to say, obviously things happen, but I think you can understand what I'm saying, like the two groups of people, that it's so true that
Mhm.
or I actually heard a teacher say this at one point. It seems like they always get sick around the holidays. They always get sick.
Mhm.
And then one teacher, I don't remember who it was that was telling me this, but they're like, I'm not going to do this. Maybe it was even you, Shelley, that they're like, no, I'm not getting sick. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. And they stayed healthy.
Yes. Well, and because I used to say that all the time because like every Christmas break, I think as teachers, you go, 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 and
Mm.
then you just kind of collapse. And because I would always say, well, every winter I get sick, every winter I gain weight. And then one year it dawned on me, I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm getting sick and gaining weight because that's what I keep telling myself. And so I stopped doing that, and I was way healthier, and I've been way healthier those winters. And now, and because I'm choosing to do things that help me to stay
Mm.
healthy. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to just keep eating junk and all of that. And the more you say the things that you really want, like I want health, then your brain starts to look for things that are healthier choices. Like I always remember, people have tried to go on diets or whatever, and family members have gone on diets and they're like, oh, I just don't want to give up sweets. I don't, and all they're focusing on, and this was me included, I don't want to give up sweets. I have a sweet tooth and da 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 da. Until I had to stop and just say, and I'm not going to tell myself what I can't have because I'm a big girl. I can eat whatever I want, but I'm going to have to deal with the consequences. So instead, I would tell myself, I am going to, I would start to get excited about things that were healthy, like, oh, I can't wait to go get some berries, or oh, I'm going to make sure I have high protein, and I started to focus on what I could have, and it ended up where I just kind of forgot about the
Mm.
sugary stuff. So you focus on what you wanted, or what you know you should have and get excited about that rather than on the lack of now I can't have blah, blah, blah. And I would always tell myself, hey, the store makes Oreos, the store makes whatever. I can go and buy those anytime I want. Today, I'm just choosing not to. And that
Nice.
really helps get through a lot of times
Oh, those
as well.
choices. I love it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
have to talk about another example too that we both I talked about this in the book and I may have even talked about this in another podcast, but you know what? I think it's so important to say it again. So I'm
Say it again.
going to. So when I first started working, the people that I worked with were in different stages of life. Like they were older, they'd been married a while. I was a newlywed. And my coworkers were always complaining about their spouse. So I found myself nitpicking, looking for things Chris did wrong just so I could fit into the conversation. And I'm
Mm,
so thankful that I realized that because I thought this is so wrong. Like it's contagious. So I made it a point that I'm not hanging out with people that bash their spouse. I mean, obviously there's times
mhm,
when people, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated, blah, blah, blah. Talking through it is fine. But the people, they're constantly like nagging on their spouse. It's like, don't do it. If you're in that situation right now, I really want you to even think back to when you first met and what you loved about that person and focus on that and look for something
mhm.
good that they do every day. And if you're thinking there's nothing, there is. So just focus
Yeah.
focus on the good for that.
Well, and ask God to help you see. My
Mm,
prayer always with people that are maybe I have a difficult time with is God help me to see them how you see them because right now
mm.
I'm not seeing it, and that does help too because it kind of softens my heart a little bit so that I look and start noticing the good. I was telling Jenny before we started recording this, I am a teacher and some years are a little bit more challenging than others behavior wise with students. And I had one year where I felt like the whole class was just one big, huge behavior mess. And that's
Mm.
all I could think about. And it was so defeating going into the day thinking, okay, it's going to be great. And then by the end of the day, you're ready to pull your hair out. And I kept in my mind saying, oh, the whole class, the whole class, the whole class. And then finally I was like, really, it's like two or three, maybe five some years, kids that are giving me a run for my money. And so I made a conscious effort to make 10 good things. I was looking for the good. I was going to
Mm.
look for 10 good things that were going on in my classroom. And what a game changer because I started to notice this one little girl who was always so shy. Well, she was starting to come out of her shell and she was answering questions. And I thought, I would think I would have totally not appreciated that had I not real. And I would write it down too. That was the other
Mm.
thing. I know Jenny and I have shared before, we're not huge journalers, but
Mm.
this kind of stuff I can do. It was like, notice the good. There's a, on my phone, I have a notes section that is like, great things are always happening to me or whatever. And then as things come up, I put that on my list. Like just
Awesome.
it could be little things like, I got a great parking spot or I don't know. I mean, there are so many good little things that happen in your life, but we tend to ignore those or not think about those. So, later in this episode, we're going to give you guys a challenge to start looking for the good. But there's one other thing that I wanted to really say that I heard somebody say one time and it has really changed my life forever. Sometimes in what we think about, and I was so guilty of this, and I still am guilty of this, and I'm working on it, is comparing yourself to other people.
Mm.
And I heard somebody say, you will never have what you are jealous of someone else having. Like, let me say that
Oh,
again.
yes.
You will never have in your life what you are jealous of someone else having. So, for example, maybe you're jealous of the way somebody can just so effortlessly get up and speak in front of other people. Maybe you're jealous of someone's house, or maybe you're jealous of they always seem to get all the breaks and all that. But what you are doing is you're speaking lack into your life. Like I
Mm.
don't have this, so I am less than. And when I started to like really think about like if I started to have jealous feelings creep in, I was like, no, I need to cheer for that person because this is the path they are on in life and good for them, good for them. And I know there
Yes.
are great things in store for me in my life too. It's just not that, or maybe not that yet, or maybe not that ever, but I think we need to do more of that as a society, and especially
Mm.
as women. We need to stop being jealous about what other people have and just appreciate the journey we're on, cheer them on, and because it's not always our turn to get the applause and to get the accolades. Like there's a more than enough in life for people to have their own success in whatever way God has planned for them.
Oh my gosh, Shelley, that is so good. I love that. So you talked
It was a
about
game
the
changer. Yeah.
Yes. You talked about the For the Good. We actually are going to link in the show notes. Shelley created this Look for the Good challenge. So it looks like a calendar. So each day we challenge you to look for something good. And I encourage you to print it off and just look for the good, right? And see what you can do and report back to us for sure. We do have another challenge for you as well. So the first challenge, it's not really a challenge, but kind of print from our show notes the Look for the Good 30-day challenge and do that, which will be
You can
so
start,
fun.
you don't have to wait and start on June 1st or whatever whenever you get it, start on day 1.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I love that. The other thing we want you to do, this is more short term. So for the next 24 hours, whenever you're listening to this, we want you to intentionally look for kindness. So maybe that's kindness that maybe you are giving to other people, and that's okay if you intentionally like, hey, yeah, that was a kind gesture. You can recognize yourself for that. Maybe it's you're driving and someone lets you in when you need to change lanes. Maybe it's at the grocery store, someone's helping you out, whatever. So look for kindness. That's the first one.
Yes. I love it.
Yes. Do you want to talk about the next one, Shell?
What is the next one? I don't
Oh,
even
sorry.
know.
Um, look for
This is how we
blessings,
roll.
right? So different
Oh,
blessings.
go ahead and talk about that, Jen.
Yes. So blessings, like look for blessings. So kindness and blessings, they kind of go hand in hand. So just look for different blessings. What are you
Mhm.
blessed with? What can you bless someone else with? Just look for those blessings.
Also, okay, I see where we are in our show notes.
Okay, perfect.
Um, beauty, look for beauty. Like this is such a beautiful time of year and the
Mm,
flowers are blooming, the leaves are coming back on the trees. It's lighter, longer outside. There's just so much beauty out there and really focus on that. That is there's
yes.
so much like as you drive to your job or you stay at home with your kids or whatever it may be, just pause long enough to notice those kind of things.
hmm the other thing we want you to focus on or look for in the next 24 hours is God moments and answered prayers, right?
Mhm.
So many times I truly believe like even simple things like if you're sitting at a stoplight and you didn't make the stoplight, it's like, okay, God, I'm okay with this because who knows what could have happened if I would have made the stoplight and went through. Answered prayers can be everything as simple as oh my gosh, I woke up before my alarm and I have a big day today and I know I need to get this taken care of. To your friend had surgery and everything went great. To just those little God moments, right? Like special times with your family and whatnot. So look for those in the next 24 hours as well. We're giving you a lot of challenges, but we love
We
it.
are. And just pick what you want. We're not trying to bombard you with a million things to do,
Exactly.
but pick one thing that we talked about today and put it into place. And we would always love to hear your comments on how it went. You can, DM us or you can just go to our Facebook pages and Abundantly Favored and message us. Let us know how it
Yes,
went. And
absolutely.
also, as always, if you found value in today's podcast, which we hope and pray that you did, please subscribe if you're on YouTube to our podcast, like, follow, share, do all the things. I don't even know what all the things are, but
Do 'em.
do that. Share it. Yeah, just do it. Share it with other people. And we are really so excited to be on this journey with you. And if you go to our website, abundantlyfavored.com, you can join our inner circle and you will never miss anything exciting that's happening. We have Jenny and I are creating this beautiful blog too that has a lot of helpful tips. So if you like what you're hearing, share it and join our inner circle.
Absolutely. And we really want you to pay attention to the words you're repeatedly saying about yourself. Just like the red car, notice the red car, notice what you're repeatedly saying about yourself. And we want you to also know that you are abundantly favored.
Have a great week, everyone.